Welcome to this edition of The Forum. I'm your host, Sheila Evans. Here on The Forum, we highlight interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. Today's show is no exception. We have an incredible lineup of guests. First up, we have Joe Newcomb and Bob Clune from the St. Patrick's Day Parade. They stopped by to talk about this year's festivities. The parade kicks off March 16th in downtown Wilmington. After that, Hap Fatzinger from the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher will talk to us about his new role as director. Some big things are planned for the aquarium, so you won't want to miss that interview. And finally, to wrap up the show, Don Betts from the American Legion Post 10 will be here to chat about their 100th anniversary celebration. It's another great edition of The Forum, so stick around. We'll get right back with our guest after this short break.
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Rachel. She's cool.
Hey. Hey, could you watch the road?
Hey, could you watch the road?
Okay. All right, well, if we die in a car crash, I want to donate my eyes to my neighbor Gary. He has a boat, and he sails all around the world. I would love to see that. I don't know if he actually needs eyes, but who would turn on a free pair of eyes, right? Who's that rich?
I have guests here today to talk about the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Committee members Joe Newcomb to my close left and Bob Clune to my far left. So Joe, let's pick on you first. Tell us a little bit of history about the parade.
Okay, the parade was started 20 years ago in Wilmington, so this will be the 20th year of the parade, and over the years it has grown, and it has expanded in size in part because the organizers of the parade work with two other groups. One being the City of Wilmington, who has always been involved because of permitting and the street closures, and the other, dating back 10 or 12 years, is called Cool Wilmington, and they're part of the Downtown Business Alliance, which is an association of downtown merchants. So I always say this parade is a three-legged stool, constituting the Irish American group, which we're representing here today, the City of Wilmington, who is great to work with, and Cool Wilmington, or the Downtown Business Alliance. So this is the 20th year. And the other thing I'll add about the history, it was noted a year or two ago in, I think, a travel magazine, that this is one of the top 10 St. Patrick's Day parades in small cities in America.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty noteworthy.
Yes, I've always enjoyed it. Who organizes the parade?
Well, the primary organizers are the Irish American members of the community. Bob and I worked on it last year and prior years, so that group over the 20 years has put it together, and again working closely with the city and the Downtown Business Alliance of Cool Wilmington. Okay.
And Bob, why do you think the parade is so popular?
Well, we organize it, you know, as a festive day in honor of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, and it's a day that, you know, people come out to enjoy the nice weather that we have here in Wilmington, and just the parade atmosphere itself, and it usually morphs into the kind of a party atmosphere downtown and for some of the establishments and stuff downtown. So maybe you want to add something to that, Joe, but...
Well, the St. Patrick's Day parades are popular across the country.
Sure.
One of the biggest ones is in Savannah, Georgia. I'd say most of our colleagues are from the Northeast and the Midwest, where, you know, Boston, New York, Chicago, they all have big St. Patrick's Day parades. I lived in Colorado years ago. Denver has a big St. Patrick's Day parade. So there's a lot of affiliation, like Bob said, with St. Patrick's Day, the celebration. It's a national holiday in Ireland, so that has spilled over the, you know, hundreds of years into America.
And we just bring it here, have ours for 20 years and have fun. You're right, I did see a group one time, the New York Police Department. I think it was, you know, folks that have moved here.
Correct.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and it was a sizable group.
Right, it's called the 1013 group or club.
Okay.
And they're in the parade every year, and they should be coming back this year on March 16th, which is the date of the parade.
Gotcha. Who might be some other groups?
Well, there's a good relationship with the U.S. Marines. And they bring the Marine Band, and they tend to lead off the parade We have other community groups. We like the Scouts. We have ROTC, junior ROTC from the high schools. We try to get a high school band or two. We get other bands. I'm not going to make a shameless plug. The Notre Dame Club participates.
True.
I'm
true.
an officer of the Notre Dame Club,
Okay.
so there's my shameless plug.
It's okay.
We have the Wilmington Police Department pipe band
Okay.
that's in the parade. Like Joe says, you know, we're really trying to get some high school bands and get them in to participate. We've reached out to all the area high schools, and we're looking forward to maybe getting some positive responses back.
You have those little motor cars, I think.
Like the Shriners.
Yes, yes, thank you.
We have invited them.
Okay.
They are welcome. We are open. Anyone who's watching
Okay.
this program, they're welcome to participate in the parade. It's a community event. It's a family event. And this year, there's always a parade grand marshal.
Okay.
Last year, we had a representative of the Irish government. This year, we decided to honor the Cape Fear region first responders.
Okay.
So we've reached out to the city of Wilmington, New Hanover County, Pender, and Brunswick counties,
Okay.
and we invited all first responders to participate in the parade as grand marshals. So they'll lead off the parade, and as you know, it goes past a review stand, and each group will be called out by the MC of the parade. And one example of the first responders, when I spoke to New Hanover County, I said we'd like to get people who worked during Hurricane Florence, but were in what I call the back room, not facing the public. So using that as an example, we have 15 people coming from the 911 department of
Nice.
New Hanover County.
Nice. Unsung heroes.
Right.
Unseen
Exactly.
heroes.
Yeah.
Right.
Very nice.
And
These
we're
are
gonna-
people that put their lives on the line after Hurricane Florence and during Hurricane Florence, you know, to help out members of the community. So that's why we felt we wanted to honor them.
Nice, nice. Joe, how do you see the parade maybe changing over the next few years?
Well, last year was the best parade to date. I think year over year we approximately doubled it or came close in terms of participants.
Nice.
And the participants vary. We might have 5 or 6 people who work with service dogs going down the street, or we'll have 150 junior ROTC students in one unit. So after last year's parade, we had a debrief with the city and Cool Wilmington, and it's all aspirational, but they'd like to see more bands and floats. And bands and floats tend to translate to money.
They do.
And quickly, we ran an Irish music night last Saturday night, and we raised money. So we're taking this in the right direction, but it'll take time.
Sure.
And we will never rival like the Azalea Festival
Sure.
Parade in that.
Sure, I can understand that. So, Saturday, March 16th.
Correct.
What time does it start?
Okay, 11 o'clock, it steps off
Okay.
at front, I believe it's Brunswick?
Right behind the Wilson Center.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what the name of the street is, but I
Yeah.
know exactly where it steps off.
Exactly. And we stage in that parking lot, and everyone who's in the parade will have an assigned spot.
Right.
Then we step off from there at 11, and it probably runs to 12:15, 12:30, and it disbands downtown.
Right.
And everyone's funneled downtown.
Always a good time. Saturday, March 16th, 11 o'clock. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us and giving us an
Thank you.
update. I'll be back in a few minutes, right after these messages.
You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I am joined by Hap Faxinger. He is the director of the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher. Tell us a little bit about your background, your relationship with the aquarium, that fun stuff.
I'm really excited, Sheila, to be back at Fort Fisher. I'd spent the last 4 years with the North Carolina Aquarium at Pine Knoll Shores, and prior to that I was at Fort Fisher for 18 years. 13 of those years as the aquarium curator, so I had the opportunity to oversee the major expansion, the entire animal collection there, and had an opportunity to move to the Pine Knoll Shores facility. but just this past month was able to come back and rejoin my family at Fort Fisher.
So more of a homecoming.
It is a homecoming. It's very sweet.
Very good. Why don't you tell us about maybe some short-term goals, long-term goals for the aquarium?
The aquarium is a fantastic resource for our community. The attendance is about 500,000 visitors a year, and the staff is already doing great work in helping to inspire conservation of our ocean habitats and inspire our visitors to really engage and save wildlife in wild places.
So it's pretty popular as an attraction, but you feel like maybe we don't know about some of the conservation efforts?
I think that that's our next wave of focus, is that conservation has always been a major emphasis of our mission, but our visitors may not, or our community may not understand how integrated we are in the conservation story. We have very active conservation work. It's a major focus for us. Sand tiger sharks, sea turtles, Carolina gopher frogs, because amphibians not only have a global decline, but we also have local declines of amphibian populations. And then we're also using the animals that are already in our care to help provide new offspring and animals for aquarium sustainability across the country.
Gotcha. So we might hear on the news about, you know, a whale beaching itself, but there's a lot of good initiatives going on behind the wall, so to speak.
Absolutely, and there's as much activity, if not more, behind the scenes at the aquarium as there is on the front side.
Gotcha. Tell us about some of the events that you've planned.
We've got a great spring coming up. We've got the world famous Weeki Wachee Mermaids, which will be here for just a limited time. So March 1st to the 3rd and March 8th to the 10th, we will host these mystical sea creatures. And the more visitors that come to see those, the mermaids, the greater the opportunity we have to share the story of the animals in our care, but also to help inspire our visitors to save those animals out in the wild.
Nice. What do you think are some of the critical issues that we're facing with our oceans now?
There are a lot of issues. I think we're very well aware of that. One of the major efforts, or the emphasis the aquarium is focused on right now, is single-use plastics. We know single-use plastics, it's a convenience item for the most part, and it's a current day problem. 50 years ago, we didn't have this issue. So this is our generation's problem that we've created, and the aquariums are working very hard to help to educate and help to hopefully change perceptions in the way people act in regards to single-use plastics.
And how do you try to educate people with that?
We focus on that in a lot of our messaging. We're going out to our business community and trying to work and support our business community in alignment with other strategic partners, but just letting people know that there are alternatives, and the alternatives aren't really that tough to utilize. We know that reusable water bottles and reusable coffee mugs, they're becoming pretty much the norm. But there's a lot of other steps that we can take that are very simple, very easy, that will have a huge impact if we can get multiple people to get behind this.
What is the message beyond, you know, your Yeti that you take back and forth? What would be another recommendation?
I mean, all of them. Single-use plastic bags, Ziploc bags.
Oh, yes.
I mean, there's so many items that have just, you know, developed in our society over the last 50 years that we didn't have and we didn't rely upon before. Straws. You know, 99% of our community doesn't need a straw to drink. We use that as a convenience item. So if we can eliminate these items piece by piece, we could really create a big impact. And we know these plastics end up all over our land, all over in our waterways and in our oceans, and they not only have a negative impact on wildlife, but they also have a really negative impact on humans as well.
Gotcha. I actually have some stainless steel straws.
Good for you.
And
That's
I like them.
fantastic.
In fact, I think it keeps things colder, which it probably does.
It absolutely does.
I know some people don't like them, but I actually have some. Why do aquariums in general matter?
Really, if you think about what the aquariums are, and if you bring your family to visit the aquarium, it is an opportunity to be nose to nose or face to face with a shark, with a sea turtle, with a jellyfish, and creating these experiences and these opportunities that most people will never get on their own. So we try to create a connection between our visitors and wildlife, and as they leave, then hopefully that we've inspired them to take action to help save these animals and save these habitats that are so critical to long-term health of our oceans and our planet.
Gotcha. How can the community become more involved with the aquarium?
Visit, come see us. You know, I hear a lot of times from people that, you know, I haven't been to the aquarium in 10 years. Come back and see us. We have great opportunities. We have great exhibits. We have beautiful animals. We have a wonderful and knowledgeable staff and volunteer base that will share this information with you. So it's really a wonderfully engaging experience. If you have extra time, come out and volunteer with us. We really rely upon our volunteers, and they dedicate and commit so much time to helping support our mission and interact and engage with not only our school children, but our families that come and visit us as well. So there's lots of great opportunities at the aquarium for families and individuals across our community.
Now, I'll admit, my last couple times being out there were for special events. Is that becoming more prominent?
It is. It's a wonderful venue for a special event. If you want to host a wedding or
Right.
a corporate party or event, it's beautiful to have the aquarium just for your private encounter in one evening. But the aquarium offers so much throughout the day, and when you look at the amount of time that you could really spend and engage with the animals and the habitats and the interpretation that we have in our staff, you could really make a full day out of that experience, and I think walk away with an impactful message that you can take with you.
Very good. Well, Hap, I'm glad you're back.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for sharing this information with us. And I'll be back in a few minutes, right after these messages.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
I am joined by Don Betts. He is here to give us a little information on the American Legion Post 0010. So, Don, as I'm looking at this, it's the 100th anniversary, huh?
It is. It is. A lot of people understand at a certain age, Veterans Day, as it's called today. It was originally called Armistice Day. And it was the end of World War I at 11 a.m. on November 11th, 1918. Following that, and a few months later in Paris, in March of 1919, the American Legion was formed. And it's a worldwide organization, but it has its roots mostly in the United States. A lot of Americans understand what the American Legion is. So what we're doing is celebrating this 100th anniversary.
Are there special events going on?
Particularly in Paris, which I'm not attending, but in the weekend of March 15th, 16th, and 17th, there's an awful large number of American Legion members there. But here in Wilmington, we have several posts around. We have Post 545 up in Hempstead, and one in Carolina Beach, a big Post 68 in Leland. But Post 10 is the 10th one in North Carolina in 1919.
Oh, wow.
So we've got some age. Our actual birthday's in September. We'll be back, hopefully, to talk about that.
Okay.
But right now, we're trying to create awareness in the community one day, March 16th, to observe this anniversary event.
And what will happen on March 16th? What are you doing to create
We're
awareness?
going to have a public, we've been actually doing a couple of newspaper ads. We're going to be starting a little radio campaign, but we're actually inviting the public to Hugh McRae Park on 11 a.m. On the 16th of March, the same day as St. Patrick's Day parade. And we will have proclamations from the chairman of the Havana County Commissioners, Mr. Barfield, as well as expected the mayor, Bill Saffold, to be able to present a proclamation on behalf of the city. We'll introduce some other local officials. We do expect Senator Harper Peterson to be available, and some other representatives, as well as a couple of local speeches from a couple of our members. But the idea is we'll have the honor guard. We're looking at maybe having a Boy Scout troop, but we're going to have that event. Following that event, at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a meal at Post 10 on Pine Grove, right behind the municipal golf course, from 1 to 6, and we're actually selling tickets for that event to help offset the expenses for that event.
Very nice. How did you get involved in the American Legion?
Well, as a veteran myself, when we first come back from our conflicts, I did 3 tours in Vietnam. You're busy, raising a family and and just going, I went back to school to get my degree from UNCW, so it took a while to get into various organizations, but today I'm in 5 of the organizations. The Vietnam Veterans, the DAV, Disabled American Veterans, the VFW. The American Legion is a little bit easier because you do not have to be having served in a conflict particularly, just be in the United States Armed Forces during an era, like the Vietnam era, like World War I, like World War II, Korea, and the recent events, the Gulf War and terrorism. And that's what our pitch is, to recruit some of these young men and women, a lot of women today. We have women members that are busy, but if we just get them into membership and get them engaged, that's what we're trying to do.
So the event, excuse me, at Hugh McCrae, will that involve the other posts, like the Leland and the Hampstead, or is it?
We're hopeful that they are aware that we're doing this. We have a committee, the 100th anniversary committee. We're primarily focused on the March event, but we're also planning a 3-day event in September. And that's going to, but we are going to have on display uniforms and weapons of the era of World War I. So our focus there is on that era, and we hope to have some various displays. We're also going to use that as a membership recruitment opportunity. But we invite the public to be out there. We have flags in front of the building of each unit of the military. We're very focused on that. Duty, honor, and country, that's our motto.
Very good. What's next for Post 10?
Is focus on the September event, because that being 3 days is going to be a major planning event for the Post. We are presently the 3rd largest post in North Carolina in membership, well over 800 members on the roll. At one time we were number 1 with over 1,000 members. Oh, wow. But we have we have an aging situation we have very few World War II guys left.
Yeah.
Pretty active group of Korean but the largest group is Vietnam veterans.
That makes sense. Is it hard to get younger folks involved?
Because they're busy and...
Well, you're right. It's probably a time in their life.
It really is, and many of them come back, a lot of them with disabilities. We try to reach out to them. Of course, the DAV does a great job of handling veterans with disabilities as far as getting them VA engaged with them. When I came home, we came home individually. I showed up at an airport. Mm-hmm. Now you're able to come home as a squadron, as a battalion, and that's really nice. You get that opportunity. But once you break away from that, veterans do have a tendency to withdraw. So we're trying to reach out to them through these public events to show them that there's active organizations.
Hey, come on, join us, yeah.
Exactly. And the American Legion is the largest veterans organization, just under 2 million members.
Do you do outreach in the schools or anything, like bring those uniforms in?
Occasionally. Okay. There are programs. There's a smaller division of the American Legion called 40 and 8, and that had to do with World War I, where they put 40 troopers and 8 horses in a boxcar and moved them from place to place. And we support a lot of activities in youth activity, and nursing programs, particularly through that organization. But they're talking about getting back into the schools, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, with the American flag, and talking about how the pledge and how important it is. Because the American Legion led the way about protecting the flag, as well as leading the way through Congress for the GI Bill, way back after World War II.
Nice. So the day at Hugh McCrae Park is March 16th.
11 a.m.
Starts at 11 a.m.
Yes.
And everybody should come.
And we'll be out there with the Boy Scouts. They have the whole place.
Okay, very good. Well, Don, thanks for coming in and telling us about that. I learned a lot.
Hopefully we'll be back in September.
Okay. I'll be back in just a few minutes, right after these messages.
Join these local businesses in offering students with disabilities the much-needed experience to compete in today's job market. Internships serve as skill-building tools for students to obtain vital career development.
I mean, not only are you doing the right thing for the community and these kids, but you're also allowing them to grow and get the skills necessary to be successful in the future.
If your company would like to add a student intern, then contact the Special Education Department now at 910-254-4445.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today. If you have any questions about the St. Patrick's Day Parade, you can email Joe and Bob at wilmingtonparade@gmail.com. For more information about the American Legion's 100th anniversary celebration, you can call Don Betts at 383-1919. And if you ever have any questions about anything we talked about here on the show today, please call the School System's Public Relations Office at 254-4106 or check out the school system's website at www.nhcs.net. I'm Sheila Evans, and thanks for joining me today.